So, dear friends, welcome you all to this live video session on spirituality in 21st century. There is always a big debate on this particular topic, whether the spiritual aspect is for aged people or for young people. And the second point is that will spirituality be effective and meaningful in 21st century. Many people, during my training sessions, while they are discussing with me, they always used to ask me this question: will this be effective? Is it meaningful in 21st century? Because when we say spiritual or spirituality, we think that it is something written or told about some many years back or thousands of years back, and it's applicable for the population of that period, and more so in 21st century where technology is driving everything. Is spirituality going to be a meaningful approach or a method? Well, I thought I will take this opportunity to share some points that might enlighten all of you on why spirituality is definitely an effective, meaningful method even in 21st century, and why spirituality means it doesn't refer to the elderly people or the aged people. It is very particularly required for the young ones, more so for the younger people, because anything good that is started at the very early stage of one's life is definitely going to bring in benefits as a person grows up. So that's what my introduction is all about to this particular topic, and let me get into this topic. Anyone having any questions can be shared through messages or through comments. I would be willingly responding to these queries. Now let us take the current situation that is prevailing across the world, the coronavirus. This coronavirus is something, is a hot topic worldwide, particularly for humans. And very simple thing that it refers to the healthcare. It refers to the healthcare of a human. So when we talk about the healthcare, we will start from here. We are made up of two things. Our life is revolving primarily on two things. One is our health, and second, our resistance to the external factors that may damage our health. Our life primarily revolves around these two factors. Most of us are born healthy, except for a few cases where they are born with some health issues. By and large, the population is born healthy. And to manage or to resist the external factors that may damage our health, our body has got a wonderful system which we call it as an immune system. This immune system helps resisting those external factors like germs or bacteria or virus, whatever that is going to come from outside and damage my health. So body has got such a wonderful system. First thing is that we are born healthy, and second, we have a wonderful immune system that helps us to resist the external factors from damaging ourselves. But then when we talk about ourselves, when we talk about this factor of I can be split again into two parts, the body and the mind. When we talk about body, we talked about these two factors. The two factors we talked about right now is the health and the resistance towards the external factors. But our life revolves around our body and mind, which means these two factors are applicable not only to our body, it is also applicable to our mind. Our mind also need to be healthy, and mind also need to be protected from the external factors, or the mind should have a resistance towards the external factors that can damage the mind and cause more detrimental issues to our life. So to take care of our body's health and to develop our body's immune system, there are so many things. We talk about diet, good food, good exercise, breathing exercise, physical aerobic exercise, and there are a lot of videos and charts available. What is this balanced diet is all about? What is a good diet is all about? So no issues, and I'm sure many of us today are becoming very health conscious, and they are by and large, taking care of their body. This can be very easily found out by the number of gyms that are opened today in our country. I don't know, during my younger days, I've never seen a gym as such, a commercial institution. There used to be corporation parks across. I was born and brought up in Chennai. I've seen the corporation parks will be there, where there is a facility for this. The gym facility will be there. Your weightlifting, bench pressing, your pull-ups, bar, all those things that you do. I'm a very crazy person of that. So we used to go in the evening to the bar and use this facility available there to take care of. But today, the gyms have been, expanding to a great proposition, which means people are becoming more health conscious. They are going to them. So they're taking care of the body. A lot of videos are becoming popular. Videos that talk about our diet are becoming popular. So that's fine. Now let's come to the question of mind. Are we giving the same importance to our mind in terms of its health and in terms of its resistance towards external factors? I don't think so. That much importance or importance itself is given to this factor. So that's what we are going to understand in this video. I'm going to slowly take you to this spirituality and its significance, and more so in 21st century. As we go through, we will see this. So let us slowly step in. We start expanding our life. For a good life, we saw that good health as well as resistance towards external factors. And then the second point, we just now saw that we are primarily divided into two parts, our body and the mind. Now I'm going to add on one more part to it, that is called our knowledge. Now let us see the purpose of these things. What is the purpose of our body? Purpose of our body is to perform actions, karma, to do karma. Karma is nothing but actions. We need this body to perform. Without the body, we cannot perform. So the body is primarily for doing karma, and the mind is primarily for experiencing. Mind's one prime aspect is to experience, and the third part is called knowledge. It is not, mind and knowledge are not of any physical part of our body, but they play a very significant role. Knowledge and mind are memories that are stored in our brain, in our every cell, every body cell, they are stored. So there is no specific part which can be referred to as mind or knowledge. But knowledge, what is the role of a knowledge? Knowledge role is driving us for action. To be more precise, knowledge Mind is in a confused state to do or not to do. The part of the knowledge is to help in taking a decision whether to do or not to do. So that's how the three parts are there. The body is primarily for action, mind is for experience, and knowledge is for driving. Now this knowledge and mind, always are in loggerheads. If your mind overpowers your knowledge, then your experience is going to dominate your actions, which means all your actions are going to be experienced based. And today it's a very, very commonly mentioned that I am an experienced person. Sir, he is our experienced staff in this office. So we give so much of importance to our experience, and our understanding of experience is whatever that we converted into knowledge. When I say he is an experienced person, sir, he is an experienced person, he has been in this organization or he has been in this position for the last 5 years, 10 years. So he is a very well experienced person, means in this 5-10 years, whatever that he has done and he has experienced, he has converted that into a knowledge. Which means he is restricting himself to the experience that he is getting, whereby he will not be able to expand himself. But knowledge is something different, which is vast, which is not limited towards your experience. Experience is very, very limited to the individual. Knowledge is absolute. It has no limit. It can't be brought into the boundary of an individual. It is vast, limitless. So we need to keep these two things separate, experience and knowledge. However, I am experienced, I may not be called as a knowledgeable person, because that is different. And let us not convert our experience into knowledge, because once we start doing it, we are going to get into a shell, because you decide your experience is knowledge, but your experience is based on your capability, your level of functioning, your capability or ability. That can't be converted into knowledge. So knowledge, for this very specific reason, I want to bring knowledge as a separate thing, which is acquired. Experience is that you feel. Knowledge is that you acquired. That acquisition should not happen from your experience. I will not deny, or I will not negate, or I will not underplay experience, but it should not be the prime factor. Now, I'll give a very simple example here. I am, say, a person who is at the age of 50 years, been diagnosed as diabetes. Now the doctor says a lot of restrictions. Now the doctor is recommending a lot of restrictions in his activities, in his diet, and let us come to the diet, the prime factor where we struggle most of the time. Doctor says that you need to cut down your carbohydrate intake. More so, you should not eat the sweets, etc., etc. Rice you need to limit, etc. Now my friend is full of experience of eating this type of food. He has converted his experience into knowledge, and he has decided that's the best food he can have. And when the doctor says you have to stop eating sweets, you should not eat mango fruits, there are restrictions, you should limit your rice quantity. And poor guy is a South Indian guy who loves rice as a prime part of the food. Doctor says cut down the rice, eat a lot of vegetables. Now, okay, he's a good guy, he understands the situation, but he wants to follow it also. But whenever he comes across a sweet meat shop, the fragrance, the flavor that he gets from that sweet meat shop tempts him. Now there are two things that is going to play a vital role. The mind, which is going to confuse him, have it. Because doctor said don't have it, mind says you have it, because he's been having this for so many years, and which he has converted into experience and established within himself, and so the mind drives him now, have it. But the knowledge says don't have it. You are a diabetic patient, so you should not eat sweets. Doctor has specifically told you not to eat sweet, so don't have it. Now there is a conflict between the knowledge and the mind. If the knowledge is going to be powerful than your mind, you will not eat the sweet. You will say, yes, doctor said I should not eat sweet, so I will not eat sweet. So the knowledge plays there a vital role. If the mind is going to dominate, then what happens? You go and eat the sweet. It's very, very important that we need to focus more and more in acquiring knowledge and thereby control our mind. We should keep our mind under the control of our knowledge. And what is the knowledge? Knowledge we are going to talk about here. That knowledge is what I am talking about, the spiritual knowledge. I am going to explain you what is spirituality and spiritual means, but I am coming to the point here that knowledge need to overpower your mind so that you have the knowledge will be the resisting factor for the mind from the external factors which are going to damage it. Now you understand? For the body, we have an immune system. We have our immune system. But for the mind, that immune system is called our knowledge. And what knowledge I am talking about? I am not talking about the academic knowledge, your professional knowledge, that keep it apart. I am not saying they are not important. They have their role in our life. So they are required for that particular role to be played. But bigger than that is our life. That life needs a knowledge which will be forming the immune system for the mind. And that knowledge is what I refer here to as our spiritual knowledge. Now I am moving to the next level now. Having completed this level, body is for action, mind is for experience, and knowledge is the driving force. And the knowledge that we are going to talk about here is the spiritual knowledge. Now we will further come into this. So body should be always healthy to perform, and the mind should be always calm and peace. What is the experience of the mind should be all the time calm and peace. Your mind should be always experiencing peacefulness, not a violent experience. Your mind should be always experiencing truth, should be the knowledge, and your knowledge should not be the truth. Many of us gain some knowledge and we try to establish that is the right thing. So let us understand here, knowledge should not be the truth. Truth should be the knowledge, and that truth we are trying to refer here is the spiritual knowledge. Now I am going to put forward a question here. The question is whether the action, the bodily actions that we are doing is for peace or with peace. That's my question. The bodily actions are for peace or with peace. My dear friend, many a places the answer that I get is, sir, we are working for peace. We are working for happiness. We are earning for happiness. We are going to vacation for happiness. We are going to a movie for happiness. We are eating this food for happiness. I am getting married for happiness. Okay, so many things. Have you ever got happiness after doing this? No. Huh? So we have been running for happiness. Even now, many people who might be hearing this, watching this video, I'm sure I can bet that you people are still running for that happiness. Happiness means I'm talking about peace. That's what our ultimate goal we want to be. No, peace is not our ultimate goal. Peace is the very base. It's a platform on which you have to build everything. And how to be peaceful and still achieve whatever the other material things that you want to in life. That's what spirituality is all about. Spirituality doesn't mean that you take sannyas, go to Himalayas, wearing that acro dress, leaving everything in your life, going to Himalayas, going as a sannyas, no family, nothing. No, spirituality doesn't mean like that at all. That's one way of life. Taking sannyas, going to Himalayas or going to some other place or to an ashram is one way of life. Spirituality doesn't mean that is what. Spirituality means a very simple basic thing, that is, be at peace all the time when your actions are on. All the time be at peace. My dear friends, this is what you people want. Will you deny this? Or can you deny this? We are spending a lot of money for this peace, for this happiness. But at the end of the day, we don't see that we got it. Whenever we get something, we feel happy for a moment. You know how our brain works? The starting point for everything is our desire. When you develop a desire on something, now you start worrying because you need to get that. Until you get that, you are worrying, you are in a worrying mode until you get that. Once you get that, now your worry is that you need to retain it. You should not lose it. Now all my worries are, how will I retain it? How will I not lose it? Now your worry is all about retaining it, not losing it. And inevitably you lose it. That is how life is. Nothing is sustainable. Nothing is stable. Nothing stays for long. That's how life is. And now you lose it. And now the worry is, I lost it. I lost it. So, when the desire starts, my worry is I should get it. Once I got, my worry is I should not lose it. And invariably I will lose it. Once I lose it, now my worry is, wow, oh my God, I lost it. Now this is how we are living, my dear friends. Is it the way we should live our life? No. Spirituality also makes us to understand another truth. One truth is, peace is the platform on which we need to build everything. Peace is not an ultimate goal. Let us understand this. In Sanskritam we call this as moksha, liberation. Liberation from all the bondings that makes me to lose my peace. And the second truth is, will come from our lifestyle. We always assume that our problem is outside. Our problem is outside. Problem is, I am still not married. And once you get married, my problem is, I haven't yet got a child. And once you got a child, the problem is why I got married and why I'm having children. The problem is, it is summer, it is hot. The problem is, it's rainy season, it's raining, dogs and cats and the streets are waterlogged. The problem is, the food is not as per my taste. The problem is, my friend. The problem is, my wife or husband. The problem is, my manager. The problem is the government. The problem is I'm not getting whatever I want. So we are into a habit of pointing fingers on all that external factors and say they are responsible for my problem. Yes or no? We are in a blaming game all the time. When you didn't get something, then you blame someone for that. So we always see the problem as an external factor, and you try to correct that. See, that's the next beauty is like you try to correct it. See, this is the actual blindness, my dear friend. A person who does not have the two eyes and who lost his vision is okay. He is still okay. He can't be. I will not consider him as a blind. Blindness is this ignorance. Ignorance about what? That the problem is not outside. The knowledge of the problem not outside. That's the blindness we are into. We are all blind people. So the problem is not an external factor. The problem is not outside. Now if I ask you, people who are watching this video, where do you see me? Where do you see me? And I'm sure the answer is you'll all be pointing your fingers towards the video screen. Your mobile or laptop or wherever you're watching this video, you'll point your finger there. Sir, I see you there. My dear friend, I'm sorry, you don't see me there. Where do you see? The image is there, but you actually see me inside you. Yes or no? It goes through your eyes, falls as an inverted image in the retina, and then your brain, the optic nerve, interprets it, and then you see. So the seeing happens where? It's happening inside you. Sir, you look very blurred. Have I become blurred? No, your vision has become blurred. So I look blurred. Yes or no? I have not become blurred. I am as what I am. But I am looking blurred for you because your vision has become blurred. So where do you actually see me? If you see me where I am actually positioned, then even in spite of your vision being blurred, I'll be seen very clearly. And thereby, now you need to understand, you see me inside you, not outside. Where do you hear? You hear inside you. Where do you smell? You smell inside you. Where do you feel? You feel inside you. Everything is happening inside you. It's all your own experience. But we are ignorant not to understand that it's my way of experiencing is responsible for my problem and not the external factors outside. For someone, summer is a most welcome thing. People who are in the sand business or certain businesses, they welcome summer. They want a hot sunny day because their business depends on that. And some people wait for rains because their life depends on rains. And someone who depends on sun says, oh my God, the rainy season has started here. Now my business is going to fall down. It should have got postponed for another 2 months. When the rainy season is delayed, the guy who is dependent on the rains, he feels very bad. Oh my God, the rain is getting delayed. When the monsoon is going to start? So the same monsoon or the same climatic change, for one person it looks fantastic, the other person it's a sorry state of sorrow. So is it the weather that is determining the suffering of the person, or the person himself is responsible? You will see that the person himself is responsible for that. That is why our actions are by and large, defined in 2 points, 2 words. They are a reaction and a response. The word reaction. I will tell you a small story here. I love stories and I love telling stories. I'm just waiting for, even I was thinking that, why I couldn't tell a story till now. Now the story is, there are 3 friends, in an office who always meet together for lunch. What may happen? Unless a person is absent for some reason, otherwise, when all the 3 are there in the office, They all three together only will have lunch. Even if one guy is going to get delayed, they wait for him. So this was there. So the three people were there. It was going on for some years. Okay. One day, when they met in the lunchroom, the dining room, which is in the 8th floor of the building, they opened their tiffin boxes. And the first person who opened his tiffin box, he opened and he saw the curd rice in it. And he got annoyed and he told his friends, right, see, my wife is keeping curd rice every day. I am fed up with this. I am fed up. Tonight I am going to tell my wife, after I return home, that tomorrow onwards you should not keep curd rice. And if you keep curd rice for my lunch, I assure you that I will jump from the 8th floor and commit suicide. I am going to tell this to my wife. The second guy opened his tiffin box and he saw idli and he said, the same is the case with me. My wife packs idlis every day. She is packing idlis every day. And so same thing I am going to tell my wife today, my dear friend. And if she is not going to change the food tomorrow, I am going to jump from the 8th floor and commit suicide. Now the third person, he opened his tiffin box. It was chapati inside. He saw the other two guys and kept quiet and started eating. So the day went on and again the next day came in and the lunchtime came. All the three of them met in the dining room. And the first person opened his tiffin box. When he opened his tiffin box, to his annoyance, it was curd rice there. He was shocked. Not only shocked, he was agitated. I told my wife specifically yesterday not to do this, not to repeat the curd rice anymore. But she never listened to me. How dare she does this to me? This is a disrespect to me. It's shame. She has shamed me. As I told my wife, I am going to jump from the 8th floor and commit suicide. He didn't wait for anything. He ran and jumped from the 8th floor and he fell down. The second person opened his tiffin box. It was idlis and he also got annoyed. He ran and jumped from the 8th floor, fell down. And the third person opened his tiffin box and it was full of chapatis. He closed his tiffin box, ran and jumped from the 8th floor and he also fell down. Luckily, nothing happened to these three people. They didn't die. I said nothing happened. They didn't die. There were fractures. Injuries were there. They were admitted in the hospital and they were lying on the next to next bed. And the wives of these three people were there sitting adjacent to them and crying, weeping, tears running around, uncontrollable. The curd rice wife said, I never took my husband seriously. In our 15 years of marriage, he has threatened me many times like this, but he has never done. I thought it's the same thing that he is now telling. I never expected he will really do what he said. I don't know what to do. I promise, looking at her husband, she is saying, I promise, my dear, from the moment you recover and start going to the office, I assure you that it will not be curd rice hereafter. It will be varieties every day. I assure you, I am very sorry for what I did. Similarly, the second guy, the idli wala's wife, she is also crying uncontrollably and she also mentioned the same thing. In all these years of marriage, my husband used to threaten me many times, but never he has done what he said. And I thought it's the same thing this time also. And she also looked at her husband and said, my dear husband, the moment you start going to the office, I will make sure that it will never be idli again. It will be varieties every day. I am sorry for what I have done. I will listen to you hereafter. Now the chapati wala's wife, she is weeping, crying unconsolably, and she is not saying anything. She is crying and crying and crying. The other two were trying to console her. Okay, baby, it's okay, sister, it's okay. Let us thank God that nothing seriously happened to our husband. Okay, they will recover and they will start going back office. You can stop giving him chapati. You can give something else every day. Then that chapati's wife said, he only gets up in the morning, prepares chapatis, packs it in his tiffin box and takes it to the office. I still don't understand why he jumped. Now this is what called reaction. They others did and I will also do. They did, I will also do. This is called reaction. A reaction, not understanding the situation, just jumping into action. My dear friends, we are into this reactive mode all the time. That's why conflicts are happening. Conflicts are okay, it is part and parcel of our life. It is never going to end, it's always going to be there. But the conflicts are ballooning into indifferences. That's the worst part. Conflicts are ballooning into indifferences. Why? Because we are so reactive. But if that guy has been responsive, he would have stopped the first guy, not jump from jumping. And above all, he would have not jumped. So our reactions, our actions are most of the time reactive. Why? Because we are keeping our experience, we are converting our experience into knowledge and living our life on that experience. We are allowing our mind to function and make decisions for our actions. But response means what? You understand and accordingly, suitably you act. And what is there dominating? Not your emotions, not your mind. It is your knowledge that is dominating there. When the knowledge dominates, my dear friend, your actions are always going to be responsive. But when your knowledge is going to be dominated by your mind, then your actions are primarily going to be reactive. So when we get the right knowledge, my dear friend, we are going to be in a responsive mood. When you are in a responsive mood, you become a responsible person. When you are a responsible person, your actions are going to be responsible. When your actions are going to be responsible, the results are also going to be a responsible result. When I say responsible result, it doesn't create any damage to anyone. It is neither harmful to me nor harmful to anyone else. That's a responsible result. To get that responsible result, my dear friend, we need to have the right knowledge. That right knowledge is about the truth. The truth should be the knowledge, and that is what spirituality is talking about all. And what is the truth we are talking about here? The problem is not outside. The problem is me. My incapability of handling a situation, understanding a situation, accordingly acting. That incapability is responsible for our problem, not the situations itself. If I want to put a simple thing, there are factors which are under our control and there are factors which are not under our control. What are the factors under our control? It's me, my emotions. Only these two factors are under my control. External factors are not in my control. They are out of my control. But today, we are trying to correct the external factors. We are trying to fit in everything. We are trying to work on the external factors and see that they can be corrected so that I can be happy. And it's not working. And my dear friend, what I also want you people to understand is that when something is not working, why don't you sit and think, can there be another method which can work? We all know, look at our home. It's a warehouse today. Yes or no? How many items are there in our home? It's like a warehouse. If today one has to vacate his house and shift to another house, he needs a big container. That much things. It's a warehouse. Today if a person goes out, he is worth easily his mobile his laptop, tab, maybe the jewelry he is wearing, sometimes even the spectacles that he is wearing. Maybe all put together, he might be close to a lakh. I'm saying the minimum, he may be close to a lakh. So we are becoming a warehouse. Why we are converted our home into a warehouse? Because we thought these materials will bring in happy to me. But ultimately, no. By the time I purchase the TV and start enjoying it, there is an advertisement in the same TV coming. We have come out with a better technology which is giving excellent sound, excellent picture clarity, color combinations, etc., etc., etc. And suddenly you feel, oh my God, the TV which I purchased is not up to the mark. I need to buy that other TV. Until you buy the TV, you keep aiming for the TV. You keep worrying and worrying and worrying for the TV. And it is continuing in our life. Today, our home has become a warehouse. Why? Because we are trying to work on the external factors, correct them, and thereby achieve happiness. It is not going to happen. You need to work on yourself. So the thing is that I need to understand the problem is not outside. The problem is me. My inability to understand, my impatience, my greediness, my competitiveness, my jealousy, my desire, my anger. These are what responsible for my problem, not the external factors. Why should I be angry with someone? For a very simple reason, because he is not behaving the way I want him to behave. Yes or no? That's why we are angry, whomsoever it might be. It can be your spouse, your children, your parents, your managers, anyone on the street. Why do you become angry? Sometimes people shout at the dogs also. They shout at the dogs. Why? Because the dog is also nowadays not listening to us. That's a problem with us. See the word, we are upset all the time. When you just, change the word, reverse it, it is called a setup. Upset becomes setup. When my setup doesn't work, I become upset. So spirituality is a very, very simple, basic thing, my dear friend. It talks about be at peace all the time and then perform your actions. To be at peace at all the time, you need to understand that all the problems are within me, they are not outside. If I can work on myself, then I can be in peace rather than trying to work the external factors. There was this husband who went to a ENT doctor and told the doctor that my wife doesn't hear and she is having a hearing problem. Whenever I call her, I need to go and very close to her and call her, only then she responds. And she is refusing to come to the doctor for a checkup, and she says, I hear very well. Now doctor, what can I do? So the doctor said, he said, you call from different distances and then finally tell me at which particular distance when you called her she responded. Based on that, I may able to give some treatment. Okay, the husband went home. From the door he called her, darling. Nothing. So he went further few steps closer. He called again, darling. Nothing happened. He went further closer to her and again called her, darling. Nothing happened. And now she is in the kitchen doing something. And he went close to the kitchen door and called her, darling. Nothing happened. Now he is standing next to her. He is standing next to her and saying, darling. And she said, how many times I have to say what do you want? What was the reply? How many times I have to tell what do you want? Now you understand. The husband thought the problem is with the wife. She is not hearing. But actually the problem is with him. It is his hearing defect. She is responding, this poor guy is not able to hear, and he thought his wife's having a hearing problem. That is what we are. If we understand this one particular truth, my dear friend, which is what the spirituality is all about, the problem is not outside, problem is me, then we will be able to appreciate this spiritual effort. To get into spirituality, there are much more things that we need to learn. But let me tell here once again, spirituality doesn't mean you leave everything, take sannyas and go somewhere. No. Spirituality's aim is only one thing. I'm repeating again, my dear friend. It is talking about the platform on which you need to build your life, and that platform is peace. And to be at peace, the first important thing that we understand from spirituality is the truth. The truth is, problem is not external, problem is internal. I need to correct myself. What all the corrections that I need to do is something that we need to get into the spirituality, in the spiritual subject more to understand this. But I'm sure we are all running for this one thing, happiness in our life. We are running, but we know we still have not achieved this happiness. We achieve our targets, we get our incentives, but still we are not happy. Why? Because again next month is there, another target is there, and again I need to run around. There are so many things. For school children, you write your exams, pass your exams, but still you are not happy. Why? Again the next exam is there. So now the worry about the next exam and the marks, everything. So we are working on a platform called worry. And how is that our life going to be happy? It's never going to be happy when you're working on a platform which is called worry. That platform need to be peace. And to build that platform, all the knowledge that is required to build that platform is what the spirituality provides. But from this video, the 2 points that I told you right now, if you can really pick it up, I can definitely help you in giving the teachings of spiritual approach. The 2 points that I want you to pick up from this video is that one is peace is the platform on which we need to work, and peace is not something that we need to work for. Peace is something that we need to work from. And the second point is that problem is not outside, problem is me, it's within me. I need to correct myself. Which all the areas I need to correct myself? The first and foremost area that I need to correct myself is converting my experience into knowledge. Please don't convert your experience into knowledge, because every experience you gain is pertinent to that particular situation, people around that situation, your emotions at that situation. They are not stable. They keep changing. Situation changes. People around you changes. Your emotions changes. Demands changes. Expectations changes. Everything changes. Nothing is constant in this factor, in this world. They keep on changing. I'm sure when you are a child, balloon was your desire and you cried. You did all that nonsense to get that balloon, but today you have enough money with you. When you were a child, maybe your father didn't have that money to get you a balloon. He might have refused, you might have cried, you would have made tantrums. But today you have that much money, more than money, which you can buy as many balloons. But will you go for a balloon today with that money? Thinking, oh, in my childhood I lost this happiness of having balloon. My father didn't have money, so I couldn't buy the balloon. So I lost that happiness. Today I have lot of money, so I will go to the shop, I'll buy packets of balloon, blow them, play with them. Will you do that? You don't do that. You know you have the money, but still you will not do that. You may remember that, but still you will not do that. Why? Because that was the desire of a childhood. But today your desire is something else. after a few years that desire will change. So all the factors keep changing. You don't look the same. When you look at your photos, when you are a child, when you are a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, 10-year-old, 15-year-old, 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old, now you are 70 years, and when you look at a 60-year-old Ford, how much of changes has happened in you physically? So the other important factor, truth that we need to understand is that nothing is constant. The world is dynamic, the universe is dynamic, everything is dynamic. In this dynamic world, if you are going to aim for something for happiness, how is that going to help you? Because then the moment you get it, the world is going to change. Then what is it that give you happiness now is not going to give you happiness. It itself can become a burden for you, because you want the next one which has come new. Now you don't know what to do with this. So the truth number 3 that you need to understand here in spirituality is that everything is dynamic. This is a dynamic world. In this dynamic world, nothing is constant. So let me not convert my experience into knowledge. Experience is for that moment. Let me experience it and forget it, because every moment is a fresh moment. Every situation is a new situation. Every moment I is not the same I that was some time back. So please remember this. So don't carry forward anything. Don't carry forward, because once you start carrying forward, you start putting yourself into that bucket and you start thinking only in that way. Perceptions are formed like this, and that's your perception. So you start building your perceptions. So perception do form, but don't give too much importance to that perception. Don't explore your perception to change yourself, but don't use that perception as a knowledge for action. Then you will be reactive all the time. A person who was so nice to you yesterday may be indifferent today. You will be upset. Wow, I didn't expect this. So the truth number 3 here is that never convert your experience into knowledge. Experience it, live it. That is for that moment. This moment is different from the earlier moment. So now let me see what is the right approach for this moment. If you can keep yourself at this level, my dear friend, every moment looks for your fresh moment. There is nothing carry forward, because we are carrying loads and loads and loads of memories, which is burdening us, which is actually pushing us down, not allowing us to lift. Why these memories are required? I am not talking about your education. Mathematics memories are required. You can't say, sir, I forgot what is multiplication, division, or I forgot my English, or I forgot. No, I am not talking about those academic related. I am talking about your life experience memories. Why do you need to carry? And the worst part is that we carry those memories which are sorrowful. In training programs, when I ask my people to say one good thing that happened in your life, they will think and think and think. But when I ask them, can you tell something that went wrong? They will give, why one, sir? I will give you 10. So to make this understand, let me narrate one more story here. There was this gentleman who is operated for his kidney problem and is lying in the ICU. He just got retired. His ambition was to be a writer, but it didn't happen. He has to get into a job, and all these years he was in the job. He got retired and has undergone his kidney surgery, kidney operation, and is in the ICU. Once he became stable and stood, he got into his sense. He took a paper and pencil and he wrote down, this year is the worst year for me in my life. Why? Because I got retired and I lost my regular income. This year is the worst year for me. Why? Because I got this major operation done and lying down in the hospital bed. This year is the worst year for me. Why? Because my son met with an accident and I have to spend a lot of money for repairing the car and for the medical treatment of my son. My son met with an accident, major accident this year, so it's not a good year for him. He wrote that, kept it, and he slept. During the lunch break, his wife came with the lunch and she saw her husband sleeping well, and she saw this note lying next to him. She took it and read. She read these 3 points, and below these 3 points, each point she wrote, "This year is an excellent year. Why? Because my husband is retired and he can now pursue his writing, which he likes most. This year is an excellent year. Why? The kidney problem, which was bothering him for so many years, is now over. This year is the best year. You know why? In spite of my son meeting a major accident, he came out of it and he is now well." My dear friend, situations are same, but two people saw that in two different ways. So it is how you look at it. Everything lies with you, and only you. The way you look at the situation is going to decide whether you are going to respond or react. The husband reacted to the situation, the wife responded to the situation. And that is what you need to understand. Spirituality talks about this, makes you understand that everything is you and only you. Others, rest of the things are just, it's like a movie that's happening around. So many things coming and going and all those things. But the hero is one. And that hero is you. And that villain is you. Heroine is you. Everything is you. To be responsive is very important. And the fourth take-home message, fourth, the first message I told you, health and resistance towards external factors. So for the body, good health, and resistance for the body is an immune system. For the mind, similarly, because we are made up of these two things, the body and the mind. For the mind to be healthy, it needs to have a resistance power that can prevent the external factors damaging. That resistance power is called the knowledge, and that knowledge is truth. Truth is the knowledge, and that is what you get from the spiritual process. And that truth is what we are trying to understand. Truth number one is, problem is me, not outside. Truth number two, don't convert your experience into knowledge. Learn to be responsive. Once you are responsive, you will never convert your experience into knowledge, because every situation you look at as a new situation and you try to understand the situation, and accordingly you act. Thereby you are responsive. That is situation number 3. And let me take to the final situation. The situation number 4, which you need to understand on the spirituality process, is how to be responsive. Is you should be able to look at the situation like the movie screen. You know the movie? You go to movies, right? We all go to movies. When you see the movie in the screen, there are so many things happening. Suddenly, you see a ocean there. Suddenly, the buildings are burning. And there is suddenly the people come with their guns and start shooting. Blood scattering here and there. And you enjoy the movie. And after the movie is over, you see the screen white. Absolutely. The screen has never become wet. The screen didn't get burnt. The screen didn't have any bullet holes. The screen didn't have any blood stains. Screen remained white. But it was screening the movie. The screen never refused the movie. It screened the movie, but it made itself very clear. I will allow only to screen the movie. I will not allow the movie me to become the movie. I will not allow me to become the movie. If the screen becomes the movie, gone. It will be burnt, it will be wet, there will be a lot of bullet holes, and there will be blood stains. With one movie, it's over. So the screen is very clear. I will allow to play the movie, but I will never allow me to become the movie. This is the final learning that you need to get in this video, right? You be part of everything, but don't allow that to become a part of you. Because you have to be present in many places. If I want to simply put it, we are in three places all the time. One is your personal area, second is your family area, and third is your social area. Invariably, you have to be there. So you have to be there. You have to be a part of all those things, all the activities there. So be a part of all those things, activities. It is an inevitable part of our life. So let's be a part of all these activity, but never allow that to become a part of it. Once you are out of that area, leave everything, leave the memories there. You come out as what you are. That's the final point I want to tell in this particular video. So the spirituality in 21st century is very much essential, because these people in 21st century are the people living at the utmost comfortable zone. I'm sure no one can say no, because the comforts that we have today, our walking has become zero. We have motorbikes, we have lift, we need not even climb the stairs, we have ACs, we have mobiles where we need not even walk down to the telephone to pick up the call. It is there right in your hand. Comfort, 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 comfort. Everything is comfortable. The most comfortable generation, the generation in 21st century, no one can deny. But the most suffering generation is also this generation, because today tension, stress has become a very common word. Today it's almost become a style statement. I am stressed here. I want to get relief of this stress. It's become a style statement. If someone says, I'm not stressed, then they will say, that means you don't do anything. So today, it's become a fashionable statement. It has also become a style statement. Some people have made it as their signature statement also. Arya, that fellow always under stress here. So much work he's having, is always under stress. But do you think stress is something that need to be admired, that need to be celebrated, that need to be given importance? I'm sure all of you know that how much damage the stress can create to our health. Our immunity system is the first thing that will get affected by the stress, and then the health overall. So why do we want this stress to be a part of our life? Why don't we understand certain things and get rid of the stress? In spite of having the comfort, are we comfortable? Means no one is comfortable. There are conditions where inside the AC room people have sweated. So this is the most comfortable generation, my dear friend, but this is the generation which is not at all comfortable at any given time. Always under stress, reactive, and so I feel spiritual approach is most essential in 21st century, and more so for the younger generation, because there are so many things that can misguide the younger generation, that can attract them and pull them. Gandhiji once said, if someone says that he is not spoiled, it means that he has never been in that situation. So that's our human weakness. We get easily tempted to the unwanted things. I'll give one final story and let me sum it up to this. So that final story is, I want to take farmer as an example. farmers, they till the soil, they sow the seeds, they water it carefully. Once they start germinating and then they start coming out as a plant, then they fence it, take care of everything. They give the they manure it regularly. They do all those things carefully for that to become a healthy crop. But when the farmer does so many things for this crop without any effort of the farmers, you can see the weeds are also growing. For the weeds to grow, the farmer has not done any effort. He has not put any effort. It grows of its own. That is the tendency of the soil. That's the tendency of the soil. But the farmer is an intelligent person. The farmer knows that if I allow the weeds to grow along with the crop, it will kill the crop and spoil everything. It is the nature of the soil to produce weeds also. But it is my effort to remove those weeds so that the crops are protected and I reap the benefit of the crop. My dear friends, similarly, human weakness is something like that weeds. It is like the nature of the soil. It is the nature of the human being with the weakness. Like the farmer, for the crop to really give yield, the farmer has to put effort. For the weeds, no effort from the farmer. Similarly, for the bad habits to come to us, there are no much effort from us. They simply come in. But for the good things to happen in our life, we have to put efforts, my dear friend. Let us be an intelligent farmer. We will learn to remove these weeds at the right time and make sure the crop is protected and it is grown very well and it yields the result as desired. So let me conclude this. Spirituality in 21st century is absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary, and more so it is necessary for the younger generation. So for any further inquiries or contact, please reply to this video. I'll be more happy to help you in giving more and more information on this. To know more and more about spiritual things, you can follow my Bhagavad Gita in YouTube. It is there in English, Tamil as well as in Telugu. That's the simplest, best source for understanding spirituality. It gives you all the tools to create peace as a platform and then perform on that platform. Thank you all for patiently listening to me, and I'm sure this video would have been useful to all of us. So let us maintain a better immunity, not only for our body, for our mind also. It is not just to fight the coronavirus. There are other viruses which spoils our mind and makes our life miserable. So we need that immunity for the mind to fight those viruses. So let's get into the path of spirituality and be benefited. Once again, thank you very much to all of you for listening, and look forward for your comments, queries on this video. Thank you all.